Okay, about ready to get started on this thing, but first I wanted to thank you all for your donations you've sent in. I appreciate that because it helps us, pay for all these videos. Like my computer's down at the shop right now trying to get fixed for some reason, and it won't allow me to bring in my video producing program, which is critical for this stuff like this. So hopefully we'll get it back soon enough to where we can get this video processed and up on the internet. So anyway, and second, one more thing. Don't criticize me for wearing my stocking hat. It was cold down here that morning, and my hair's disappearing, so I got to keep my head warm. So anyway, I've been working on this thing. I told you, we scooped it out back here and everything. So I went ahead and I drilled a hole in the top of it here for his neck. And being as he has such a long chin, I had to take my gouge and scoop out this area where his chin goes. I always offset my heads either that way or that way, but being as he's looking this way, that's the reason why I dug it out on that side over there, so his head sets down in there. And then I got to thinking, I sketched this out, and I got to thinking, well, that's kind of plain, we've done, I think, similar stuff to this before. Let's do something a little different. So, I just sold this carving this morning, or yesterday evening, and it's always been one of my favorites. So I thought, well, why don't we just try to sort of duplicate this area in here, his vest and his shirt, and I really like the way it's sitting on this base. So I had some scrap bases sitting around, so I thought, well, I'll just put that together and we'll just see what it looks like. And you can see just immediately the effect that has on on one of your carvings. It just changes it completely from that to that. It's just amazing to change. To me, it turns it into a piece of art, and it separates your work from everybody else's. I know it's hard to come up with bases. I'm sure a lot of you don't have a lathe or anything like that. But I'll tell you, you can go down to Lowe's or Home Depot or some of these lumber yards, and you can find little things like this here over in the molding section, and you can use those for bases. They work out. I do that occasionally.
Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby, places like that. See there, even Judy knows where to find them. Okay, so I went ahead and I sort of real roughly sketched out, what this guy, and then I thought, well, let's just go a little farther. Instead of giving him a bolo tie, and we still might do that, let's make him a sheriff. So if you turn around down here, this is what I was originally aiming at, but then, I remembered that I just sold that carving, so I thought, well, I believe I'll bring that thing over here and look at it a bit and see what we can come up with. So I forgot about that thing and went with the other thing. And then to get a sheriff's badge, I got back into some old research books. And here's a point. These are put out by Time Life years ago when I started buying them. I think they cost about $20 a piece when I was buying them then. Now you can find them in flea markets for almost nothing. And there's all kinds of books. You can see this one's been used to where it's falling apart. But here's a page that has all kinds of sheriff's badges on it, marshal's badges. I like this style right here because when everybody thinks of a sheriff's badge, they generally think of a star. And instead of doing a star, what everybody thinks of a star, I thought I'd do a 6-pointed star there like that. Okay? So anyway, now that we got all that behind us, we can separate this thing. I went ahead and finished his hair, like I've mentioned I was going to. So in doing these things here, remember I forget what we were doing on one of the cowboys. I think we were doing belts and vests and gun belts and all this other stuff. And I mentioned that you should do your carving, look at it as it layers, starting from the top and work down. because you don't want to start down and work forward, because you end up carving off the material that you're going to need for the objects that are higher on the plane. We're working in reverse of what a regular sculptor with clay does. So we have to learn to do those things. So the high points on this piece will be the star, and then these points right here, and we'll go down from there. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure I got my star on here good, to where it looks good, not cockeyed. These lines here are supposed to go all the way through. That looks pretty good. So let's just sort of, this is one time I'll approve of your carving directly in a straight line down into the wood. But don't do it very often. I did a carving of Wild Bill Hickok quite a few years ago, and to make his badge, I actually made him, the piece was called the Tin Star. And I went out and I got me a piece of tin. And made me a tin star. Thought that was kind of neat. So did the person who bought the piece. You have to be real careful when you're doing this for the points of the star, because they'll be very fragile. So you don't want to overcarve. Getting spots like that right there to where you're going down into the grain. Just take out a shallow chip first, like that, and then come back the opposite direction. Like that. Yeah, there's nothing more frustrating than computers that don't work. Well, I'll tell you, I thought, oh sure, 2014 is going to be a lot better than 2013 was, and boy was I wrong. They're going to devote this old video to just carving the star. That's okay. We're in no rush. There, we got our star on there. Probably have to refine that a little as we go on here. Okay, next we're going to do the lapels on the vest. So starting up here, I'm just going to slide angle. Go right on down there like that. Go a little deeper here. Come up this way. There we go. That'll give us enough relief to where we can carve this art right down here. Okay, now we go on the other side. Again, now I'm not carving straight down into an angle. It's probably that fellow wanting to know where his carving is. I don't know what that was. Again, we want this deep here. Hear that sound this blade makes when it springs? Well, a regular carving knife won't do that. That's why I love these knives. But they will not turn like this one. Okay, I think that's just about going to be all we can do for this video. We got our star on there. We got the beginnings of our vest. So in the next video, we'll probably be able to finish the whole thing now that we know what we're up to. So, till next time, I'll talk to you later. Thanks again for those donations.